This is Ashlie Amber, and you're listening to my brand new acoustic version of my song, Those Nights, on the Songwriters Lounge podcast.
It's one of those nights we'll be making love to sunrise, doing shot for shot until the bottle's dry. You put my hand in your hand, we'll do it again, yeah. 'Cause it's one of those nights we'll be making love to sunrise, doing shot for shot until the bottle's dry, laughing about anything and everything for hours at a time. 'Cause it's one of those nights when you tell me all your secrets, and I promise that I'll always keep it, yeah. You put my hand in your hand, we'll do it again, yeah. 'Cause it's one of those nights, it's one of those nights, it's one of those nights. One of those nights.
Jesus. I mean,
nice touch at the end. It's one of those nights.
It's one of those nights, guys. ASMR. Songwriters Lounge ASMR. Honestly, that vocal was outrageous, Tom. I mean...
One of the things that I wrote down was how good Ashley's diction is. You understand every single word, no matter how powerfully she's singing. Really, really good. Really good.
I love the song.
There's a lot of energy in it
at the end, like you said.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's so much energy in just vocal, guitar, piano, and bass. Like they're all right in the pocket there. I love the brightness on the guitar. Works really nicely with the piano. The piano drives the song for me. And if you listen to the full thing, guys, which again will be on the Spotify playlist, they kind of start out with a big piano hit. And it kind of sets the tone. Like it's like the pianist being like, right, you guys follow me. Bang. Into the song. Ashley's vocal is amazing. The lyrics are awesome. It's a great story. Really easy to follow story, which is always important. Mm-hmm. There's some sweet, sweet bass riffs in there. The whole way through the song, the bass player is just tearing it up.
Tearing it up.
Yeah, he is. Listen to it again. Boom.
He fucking is. He's going for it. Boom, boom, boom.
All these different counter melodies. Great. And the bass and the piano are kind of locked in, which is different. Like the bass is locked into the left hand of the pianist, but also the right hand of the pianist doing all the melody runs. The bass is doing a lot of that as well, and sometimes even harmonizing with the piano, which is clever. And I'd love to be in that session where they wrote that and just to hear it. One thing I will say is, for me, the bass is overpowering in this song. It could have done with being turned down a lot. And also there's a frequency right in that low to low mid range. I actually think you've written down the exact frequency, Andy. But it's right in there somewhere that I would just notch out straight away. Bang, get that out there. Just a little bit too overpowering for me. That's just
area.
Yeah, maybe even a little bit low. Maybe even
maybe even 200.
Yeah. So it's but that's one thing that I just took away from it. Other than that, the bass guy, I want to hear that bass because he's ripping it. Again, if you listen to the full thing, Ashley kind of emphasizes some lines with just speaking it, which just adds that extra emotion. And definitely brings across the story in a new and exciting way for the listener. Again, when Ashley sings, like I said at the start, like her diction is incredible, so you understand everything. You're not thinking, what did she say there? Or like just trying to hum along. You understand everything she says, and she performs it beautifully. It's really well sung, which obviously comes across in what you're listening to. Wow, that's great, because she sung it well. It's not, the producer hasn't had to do much to her voice. There's different sections brought in. There's like a shaker that gets brought in, which adds another element. Again, keeping you interested without even realizing too much that there's something else going on, except like there's someone there with a shaker. And I just think that for me, the main emotion I get from it is that the piano brings the character into the romance of the song, and it's kind of a romantic song, which you get as well from the lyrics.
they're making love till sundown or something like that. So I mean,
it's
all about the love, baby.
She's I feel like should listen to Barry White along with this song.
Let's get it on.
Let's get it on, baby. But yeah, great song. Really enjoyed it. And for an acoustic song, I like it that there's so many different elements. You don't really get that in acoustic music, but I think this one's nailed. So
I wonder if this is like a acoustic version of the main original, because you get I don't know, like I'll need to check that out too, because you can tell like the energy is there for it could be like a big production song. So if that is already done, then I'll be checking that out. I mean, just I had to compose myself after those vocals because it was absolutely fucking ridiculous just how clear her vocal tone was. Her diction was superb. It was so hooky. You know, repeating It's One of Those Nights over and over again, people can jump on that. You know, if I'm in the crowd at a gig and I've never heard of Ashlie before and she starts singing this, by like a third of the way through, I can start singing to your music because it's okay, it's repetitive, but that's not a bad thing. Like I can instantly jump on that and start to join that journey. And I just thought her riffs were beautiful. You know, really, really solid vocal riffs with clear note-to-note separation. They weren't like blending into one, like they were da-da-da-da-da. Like they were really, really nice. And that's someone that's vocally trained. That is either that or they've just been given a gift from God. But, you know,
could be either.
Absolutely, hats off to that. And it's a really nice story-based lyric that creates a really clear picture about, like, I got, like, for me, it made me think of, like, it was a last-minute date. So it's like coming home and you're like, right, it's one of those nights. Like, we've had a shit week. Let's go out. Let's have a date night. And then, you know, let's have a lovely meal. And then let's get home and, you know, let's get at it.
Go to town.
Until sundown,
like
baby.
Rabbits. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, whether that was Ashley's vibe or not is up to her, but that's where it put me, Ashlie. So you've done something right. And and yeah, I just loved I love the emotion in the song. So it's like there's a lot where like the instruments are really going for it, and then there's a lot where, like, if you listen to like the first verse and the bridge sections, it really strips back to like nothing at all, like really simple arrangement, really low energy, and just relaxed tones and vocals coming across. And so they had like the high energy and the low energy in this track, which I really liked. Definitely agree with you that the bass was a bit distracting for my music production ears. You know, it's just been pushed quite a bit forward for me. And certainly because this is an acoustic track, you know, you don't want it to be too bassy. You want it to be more about the acoustic elements, and just have the bass sitting there as a nice like foundation at the low end. But I think obviously because the bass line is so fucking good, they obviously wanted to push it forward a bit just to shine it. But yeah, I would have taken it back just ever so slightly, maybe. I don't know, what would you say, Tom? Maybe like 5 dB on the bass bus or something like that, and just have it just complementing the song rather than being like almost like a lead guitar element, you know, just let it sit back in the mix, and that would have just topped.
I think even making that EQ cut would help.
Yeah, maybe.
Cutting that right around 200 to 500, you have to play with it. Cutting that as much as, I'd go as extreme as 8 to 10 dB. Just in the EQ cut. I think that you might not need to turn down the bass bus.
Yeah, if you've got a wide
playing
Q,
with it, just to find the right level.
Yeah, if you've got a wide Q on the EQ, you know, and just notch it. Don't go too surgical. Maybe that would have helped, definitely. But yeah, a lovely, lovely track. Again,
yeah, really great.
I really enjoyed listening to this, and I hope you guys did too. Because yeah, it's one of those tracks that instantly me and Tom listened to and we're like, heads banging, heads bouncing, smiles on our faces. Like it's taken us somewhere, and that's what music is. That's what we are all about on the Songwriters Lounge. Is trying to listen to music and feel those things, whether that's heavy metal or acoustic like this, and we've had it all on the show. So thank you very much for sending that, Ashlie. That's very
really
cool.
enjoyed that one.
Really enjoyed
Straight in the
it.
playlist.
Straight in the playlist.